Hola amigos, buenos días. Hello friends, good morning and welcome to Spanish with Aya. We started this course back in 2020 and in the month of May I had my last video that I posted. It was on AR ending verbs. But after that I could not continue with that course. My sincere apologies for that. But after 1 year, I'm back again to continue with the course as promised. So we'll be completing the course as we started Spanish A1. So because we are doing this course after a long time, we're starting all over again. So I have thought that this particular lesson, I'll do a quick revision of what we covered before, and then we'll start with the new topics. So for example, we have covered the AR ending verb, and we will quickly revise the AR ending verbs that we learnt and then continue with ER and IR. So basically in this lesson we're going to cover all types of Spanish verbs. Alright, so without wasting any time, let's get into it. So as I mentioned, that we'll be doing the conjugation of AR and ER and IR ending verbs today. But before we get into it, we need to understand one thing. What is the basic form of Spanish verbs? So the basic form of Spanish verb, it is called the infinitive form, which is to plus the verb, which means, like example, to speak, to dance, to sing. What do infinitives look like in Spanish? Like, how do you recognize that this is the infinitive form? Well, very easy. The infinitive form of the verb will have an end, which will end with either AR, ER or IR. If you'll see, the verb form is having an ending of AR, ER or IR. That means it is the infinitive form. Let's see an example. For example, me gusta comer biryani. I like to eat biryani. In here, I like is the main verb, and to eat, it's the infinitive form has been used because it's the secondary verb in the sentence. For example, me gusta viajar. I like to travel. Again, my primary verb is to like, I like, and then my secondary verb is to travel, and hence we are using the infinitive form. But that is not the case all the time, right? What if I would say I read a lot, or Emilia dances a lot? In this case, we are not saying to read. It is a personal pronoun I and action of the pronoun. Okay. Now let's see. So in this case, we need to conjugate. Unlike English, where, for example, if you take the example of the verb to go, we say I go, you go, he goes. Only for third person singular number, the verb form changes. But in Spanish, with the personal pronoun, each personal pronoun will have a different verb form attached to it. Okay? Do we remember the personal pronouns? Let me repeat once again. The personal pronouns are like yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. First one, yo, which is I. Tú means you, informal. Él, ella, usted, he, she, usted, which is like formal, you, like in Hindi, आप. Nosotros, we, vosotros, you, plural informal, तुम लोग, and then ellos, they, masculine, ellas, feminine, they, and ustedes, you, formal, plural. Okay, and now each of these pronouns, personal pronouns, will have a different verb form. Let's understand how to conjugate the verb. Now, for example, this particular verb, bailar. Bailar means to dance. Now, I don't know whether you remember, we spoke about that you need to conjugate or basically any infinitive form of the verb is split into two parts. The first part till the start of the ending, it's called stem. Like for example, in bailar, B-A-I-L-A, it's the stem, and then A-R or A-R is the ending. Okay? So for regular verbs, it is pretty easy to conjugate because it falls into a formula. And what's that formula? Let's learn how to conjugate this particular verb for the personal pronouns that we just spoke about. So for example, yo, what you need to do, you need to just keep the stem, remove the ending and replace it with what is given here. So for yo, you need to replace it with o. For tú, you need to replace it with us. Usted, él, ella, you need to replace it with a. Nosotros, you need to replace it with amos. Vosotros, you need to replace it with ais. And ellos, ellas, ustedes, you need to replace the ending with an. Pretty simple. Let's go ahead. Let's think of a flower. You can see the stem. So in the stem, this remains constant. Bail is B-A-I-L-A, and the petals you can see like o, as, a, amos, ais, an. For yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, and ellos, ellas, ustedes. Okay, pretty simple. Put it into this formula and it will get conjugated. It's very easy. Let's conjugate this verb. I speak. Now, what is the verb? What is the infinitive form of to speak? It's hablar. It's hablar. So the stem will be H-A-B-L, and the ending is A-R. Right? So to conjugate, you need to remove the ending of the infinitive form of the verb and add for I speak. For yo, it's going to be hablo. For tú, it will be hablas. Él, ella, usted, habla. Nosotros, hablamos. Vosotros, habláis. Y ellos, ellas, ustedes, usted, habla. Nosotros, hablamos. Vosotros, habláis. Y ellos, ellas, ustedes, hablan. Pretty simple. Great. Let's see what's next. So this is the conjugation that we, okay. Now I'll be sharing a list of AR ending verbs, AR ending regular verbs to be precise. I'll be sharing a list of ER ending verb and IR ending verbs as well for you to conjugate at home. Now that we already completed the AR ending verb, let's quickly look to the formula for ER ending verbs. This is again a pretty simple one. It's for yo, to replace ER with O. For to, we need to replace it with the ESS. For él y usted, A, to replace it with A. No. For nosotros, it's hemos. Please ignore the emos. I think this is by mistake, it is put in there. And for vosotros, now you see nosotros or nosotras. So we, if it is a group of male and female or only male, it will be nosotros. If it is a group of only female or women, then it will be nosotras. Similarly for vosotros as well, if it is you plural masculine, it will be vosotros. If it is you plural feminine, in that case it will be vosotras. And the ending will be, you need to replace er and you need to put in es. And for the last one, ellos, ellas, ustedes, you need to replace er and put en. Let's look at some examples. So the verb is aprender. Aprender, to learn. So here the formula remains same. It's aprender. So what is the stem in here? It's a, p, r, a, n, d. It's the stem. Er is the ending. So you need to replace er with, as per the formula that we just looked. Now this is a list of er ending verbs. For aprender, it's learn, beber, to drink, comer, to eat, creer, to believe, leer, to read, vender, to sell. So we got 6 verbs. You can conjugate these verbs. These are all regular verbs. You can conjugate at home. And if you have any question, you can put your comments in here and I'll certainly get back to you. Now, somehow the E got omitted. I'm not sure how, but there should be an E. So the verb is aprender. It's aprendo, aprendes, aprende, aprendemos, aprendéis, aprenden. Alright, so let's look at the verb once again. It's aprender, aprendo, aprendes, yo aprendo, tú aprendes, él ella usted aprende, nosotros aprendemos, vosotros aprendéis y ellos ellas ustedes aprenden. Very good. So alright, now that we have completed the er ending verb, let's start with the ir ending verbs. Now er ending verb and ir ending verb both are kind of similar, very easy to conjugate. So in fact the regular verbs, Spanish regular verbs, are very easy to conjugate. For example, we have a list of 6 verbs in here. First one, abrir, to open, asistir, to attend, decidir, to decide, escribir, to write, recibir, to receive, and vivir, to live. Now let's see the conjugation. And before we see the conjugation, let's see the formula. Abrir. It's stem. So abrir. Can you tell me what is the stem? Yeah, it's abere. And the ere is the ending. So this is the stem. Abro for yo. For tú, it's abres. For él ella usted abre. Now only changes, you see, it is the same as the er ending verb. It's osa. Only difference is in nosotros and vosotros. is abrimos, abrís, and abren. It's as similar as the er ending verbs, so abro, abres, abre. Only difference is the nosotros, the form for nosotros and vosotros. It abrimos, abrís, abren. Emphasis. So great. So you need you see, in abrimos we don't have any accent on I, but for vosotros there is an accent on I, E. So whenever there is an accent on any of the vowels, you need to stress there. So the pronunciation will be abrís. It's abrimos, abrís. Okay? And then ellos, ellas, ustedes abren. Great. Alright, so with this we have completed the conjugation of AR ending, ER ending and IR ending Spanish verbs. If you have any question, please reach out to me, and I'm going to, in the description box you'll find also a list of AR ending, ER ending and IR ending verbs for you to practice at home and conjugate them. I hope you liked the session, and if you have liked, please do subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next episode. Gracias.